We are reaching out to you with a new edition of In Conversation brought to you by Daily Mirror. And today I have with me two amazing individuals. They're designers and co-directors representing a coveted family-owned jewelry brand in Sri Lanka, Lalitha Jewelry. And today we're going to kind of reflect on their journey and also talk about the exciting diversification into their journey woven around crafted silver. So I would warmly welcome Yasanthi and Avinaesh.
Thank
Thank you.
How are you guys? Super excited to be here.
Good. Yeah, good. Excited. Yeah.
So I would actually like to know, there are so many questions I would love to ask, but how has the journey been so far? With the parent company Lalitha Jewelry, and now you guys are carving out a new path with the brand Allure. How has the journey been like?
It's been a long journey. I've been involved in the jewelry business after I got married. So before that, I was always interested in crafting, putting things together, working with fabrics. But after I got married, it was I was able to work with this precious metal. So my area is mainly designing. I love to design. That's how I started. So when I started doing jewelry designing, it was I felt I was a bit restricted, though I really enjoyed it because it was such an expensive metal. So whatever little even a small dot you put in, you had to be very conscious about it.
It's true.
So that was the only restriction, and that is one of the reasons I always wanted to get into silver jewelry, so that you have the flexibility in just doing what you really want to, because it is a precious metal but not as expensive as gold.
Definitely, and I think that is why you give life to the brand Allure, which we'll definitely talk more about later on. So how does Avinaesh come into the equation, being a new gen, stepping into the jewelry business? What is the experience like, Avinaesh?
Yeah, I think for my mom, she obviously got into the industry when she got married. For me, I grew up with it. I was kind of, Colombo being Colombo, you kind of got introduced to people and you were introduced as so-and-so from Lalitha's or whatever. So it was something that I've grown up being quite proud of. But I think I lived overseas for a while, and over the past few months, I've started to really understand a little bit more, at least, what that actually meant in terms of, I'm meeting customers now, and even talking to staff who've been there for over 40 years. So you have customers who bring jewelry, for example, which is over 50 years old. And they've said, they've been coming here and their children and their grandchildren, so now their grandchildren are getting married, and that kind of tradition and that legacy has been something that's I found really interesting, and probably the appreciation I have for the brand also has increased over the past.
Definitely, and I think you do have a global experience in your academics and all that, but the Sri Lankan value system is something very special, isn't it? So I would like to know, Sri Lanka has a very beautiful history woven around jewelry. Even back then, the coronations, the positions, they all had gemstones, metals, so much of beauty woven around it. So Sri Lanka is very close to jewelry. It's not just an accessory. When the mom is, dressing up the daughter for her wedding, or it could be something like that. It's something that has a very special connection. So, having clients who have those special connection with jewelry and being a Sri Lankan jewelry maker, what is the experience like?
Sri Lanka, because of our multi-ethnic exposure, and we have a variety of jewelry. We have the Candian jewelry, the southern jewelry, then the northern jewelry. So even if you take a wedding as a bride, there are a lot of similarities. But at the same time, distinctly the designs are different.
Definitely.
The Padakam, I think, has a lot of similarities to South Indian jewelry. So a Candian bride would wear a Padakam with a long chain, which is with gold beads. The Hindu Tamil bride would wear the Padakam with a long chain again, but it will be made of gold coins. And the southern bride again with the petimali. So there's a variety of there's a lot of variety in design. So it's really nice to be a part of it and to be able to be exposed and to use elements of all these and design your own jewelry.
Definitely, and I think this is a story that the world needs to hear, the Sri Lankan story. Also, I would like to know, you get into the jewelry business after marriage.
Yes.
So, did you go through any sort of hurdles or challenges? Do you have any sort of memories woven around trying to, what was the experience like? Did you make any rookie mistakes?
Mistakes, I don't know. Mistakes. I think the only mistake I am still making is I just put my hands into too many things. So I really like to.
There's a word for it. It's called versatility.
I like to try out new things,
Yeah.
whether it be jewelry or with fabrics or colors or ingredients, anything. So I sometimes I feel if I concentrated more on just one or two areas, I would have achieved more and done more. But I don't think I have any regrets.
Definitely. And Avinaesh, like you stepping into this, it's a name that's already out there. It's already been built. It's a legacy in the making. Do you feel any sort of pressure? Do you get excited, or do you feel confident in this?
I don't think I feel pressure. I think it's exciting.
Exciting,
It's
definitely.
definitely exciting. I think it's like I was saying, in terms of people coming into the store and talking about the history and like how they've met my grandfather, and how not even just our family, but like people who we have working with us have been with us for over 40 years. Some of them, so like 20, 30 years sometimes. So it's like there's a real history behind it, and I feel like that's something that money can't buy. That's something that is just it's luck, I guess, in my perspective, of being born and being able to
Raised
have that.
in
And
that
now,
environment.
yeah, and now it's up to me, I guess, to kind of try and do something positive and take it.
Definitely.
somewhere
And I
else.
think
So,
watching your parents be so passionate about that makes you also feel confident, I guess.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. And also, talking about your latest entry, Allure, as you mentioned, you like to experiment with silver. So let's talk about that journey a bit.
Yeah, I think I always wanted to do silver, but my husband's family was quite a traditional family and into gold jewelry. They had a lot of reservations in getting into silver. So this idea was there, but it never materialized. So a few years back, Sonali Dharmavardhana, who's a designer, she does her own batik. She was rebranding her, and then she asked us whether we would like to do some silver jewelry, and I just jumped at it. And Sonali is a very close friend of a family friend. So we both, when my husband said, let's see, and okay, by that time we had like come up with a collection. So he had no way to stop us. That was it.
That's
So thanks to
interesting.
Sonali, actually.
So it's amazing to see that you're stepping into a new avenue. Like, what really inspires you in terms of conceptualization? Like, what is there something that you just think and you just sketch it, or
Yeah, I think that ability I have. I can sit here with a cup of coffee and look around and come up with quite a number of designs. I can look at your dress, at the fabric design, and come up with 2-3 earring designs. So that is, I think, I can just look at anything and get inspired. I mean, whether
amazing.
it be nature or some carvings or whatever. I mean, even when I'm traveling, I love to see, even if I see a table, a beautiful table, I might be able to take elements out of it and just design something.
I think everything is circulated. I think there's something that you get and you turn it into something better. And in terms of that, I would like to really know about, because jewelry, especially a brand like Allure, has so much global potential as well. So I would like to get more clarification on what the vision is and what you actually want to implement moving forward.
So I think like people, like we were touching on it at the start, but in terms of Sri Lanka is known for cricket, Sri Lanka is known for tea and known for gemstones. But one thing we don't talk about Sri Lanka enough is in terms of the actual crafting skills that we have. And it dates back a really long time.
Definitely.
So, and the multicultural influences that we've had has been really important. So for us, I think with Allure is because it's a metal that is easy to work with as opposed to gold, we can also use that to try out different things, try out more way out designs,
Yeah.
try and cater to different markets, and try and take that internationally. So that's kind of the idea. So we've just relaunched our website as well, and we're trying to essentially see what we can do in overseas markets to be able to take Sri Lanka, even with working with Sonali as well. Just trying to see, like, she works with batiks and stuff like that, so we're trying to like bring in batiks and bring in silver jewelry and all the semi-precious stones and cultured pearls that we use, and trying to take that overseas and give that exposure for Sri Lanka to the world.
Definitely. And I think it's high time that we take this story to the world, because it will support our local supply chain, which is like one of the most important parts, because they're like the backbone of our economy. So I think it's amazing that you have that vision moving forward. So really getting to the specifics of the brand Allure, I would really like to know what unique characteristics are woven around your products, and also, let's talk about your team.
So we've got a pretty young, energetic, and quite a diverse group of craftspeople. So that's been an exciting proposition to also work with. I think so. We've got that from a technical expertise, got that experience to leverage off Lalitha's, and now we're kind of trying to bring in a younger team to try and work with the new metal and try and experiment with a few different things. So everything is handcrafted. Everything is handcrafted with us. We use semi-precious stones and cultured pearls. So yeah, there's a lot of love that goes into kind of each piece that gets made. It's not kind of a factory churning out 100 kind of
Definitely
things.
some machine made, which is, I think, having that human connection, that emotionally intimate connection with something, I think that can actually empower the clients as well.
Yeah, so actually, like, even on our website, we have to mention that every piece is handcrafted for you. So there might be very slight variations in each thing, because you can never get that exact same kind of finish. So that's one way to look at it, but also the other way to look at it is that every piece is essentially uniquely yours, because it's created that way. So yeah, that's what Allure is.
And before I wrap up, I would really like to know, out of curiosity, being in a family business, keeping everything personal or professional, it's a big gray area. What is it like to be business partners with your mom, and what does it feel like? How is it like for you to work with your son?
So in my experience, I work on Lalitha's with my dad a lot, and now I'm working on this project with my mom. So I've been away for 7 years, so I literally speak to my parents maybe a couple of times a week, but like, just on FaceTime or whatever. And now, like, the past few months has been like we're all full on in the same space all the time. So it's been an interesting experience, but I think so far we've navigated through it very well.
Yeah, I think I was always waiting for this date for us to all to sit and work together. But as you say, I think we'll have a lot of challenges. I've already lost a little bit of my privacy. I've been, I think, overworked, because his work ethics are very different. But I think we are really enjoying, but we need to be careful in not bringing work home, I guess.
Definitely. And I'm sure with all your experience and your global experience, I'm sure it can
think
align
I'm learning a lot from him, actually.
I think when you have a kid who has a global exposure, it's a different thing. Even in my family, like, sometimes we do have those conflicts, but we learn a lot from each other. So I think that's going to go a long way. Yeah. So finally, I would like to invite you guys to kind of give out how we can get in touch with the brand, the website, social media, because I'm sure there's so many out there who would love to get in touch with your collections and what's coming up later on.
We've currently launched our website, which is alluresilver.com. You can also catch us on Instagram, where Allure Crafted Silver. We're on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, you can reach out through us to any of those mediums. We also retail at a couple of different partners across Colombo, where Sonali Dharmawardhana Leather Collection, and also at Urban Island. So yeah,
and our online store.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I want to once again thank you both for joining with me for this edition.
Thank you very much.